New York's classic rock, Q1043.
Good morning to Zad Arifai. He is the owner and chef at Wicked Jane, which is at 15 West 8th Street. And I understand, I knew Zad when he owned Blue, which was a fantastic restaurant in Montclair, but we lost touch over the years. But I wanted to check in with you because I heard you had the most imperfect timing when it came to the pandemic.
Great to be here and great to see you again. And thank you
Thank
for
you.
having me. Yeah, we were scheduled to open in March, towards the end of March, first week of April, and beginning of March, the pandemic happened. We thought it was going to be 2 weeks, as they were letting us to believe, and here we are, almost 19 months or 18 months into it. So we didn't open. We didn't open July. We opened in July 12th, I believe. We were supposed to be a very high-end fine dining restaurant when we first opened up, with only a tasting menu of 16 courses. And when we opened up very casually because just the timing was just not right to open up for such a high-end dining. And I didn't think anybody wanted to really sit indoors or sit anywhere. Well, there was no indoor dining to begin with, but that menu would have took 3-4 hours, and it just wasn't the proper time. So we opened up just outside. Excuse me. We opened up with just outside. That's all that was available when we opened up in July, and we opened up to great success. People loved it. We toned down our menu. The menu was a little bit more casual. The pricing was very reasonable. And by the second week, we actually had lines. People were waiting to get a seat, which was a bit surprising to me. But I think we were touching somebody. It was, our setting was really nice. It was we had real chairs and real tables outside, not just like plastic stuff. Outdoor furniture. So it looked really, really nice. And people walking by would just see all these flowers and and we had a very rock and roll theme with the restaurant. So the actual chairs were like purple and blue. So, which is very, but I decided to go with a rock and roll theme because that's my background. So we opened up. It was great. People were loving it. It was absolutely wonderful, and it continued to be great all the way until I guess late October, when things started getting cold and people were not sitting outside anymore. Then they allowed indoor dining for a little bit, but people were not really going indoors last year. And then December 12th or December 13th last year, then they closed us down again. And we stayed closed. We stayed closed all the way from December until May, with when outdoor dining was able to do again. And it's been great. It's been, people are loving it. We got some good media. We got recognized by Michelin, which was really, really interesting. But a great thing, especially opening up under those circumstances and not really being the restaurant that we were supposed to be. So it's been great. It's been great. It's way many challenges.
Yeah,
But
how did you hold on? I mean, how were things for you financially? That's a very long stretch of time. And I know some people made it, others didn't. How did you survive?
By being very, very cautious on how much we spend. I myself was not taking a paycheck. Actually, for over a year now, I have not taken a paycheck. So we only have 30 seats. The restaurant only has 30 seats. So it's difficult at the price point that we are now to be profitable. It's we're really working a lot. It's me and one guy in the kitchen. It's difficult by doing many jobs. just me myself, and that's the reason why I'm going in so early, because I'm not just doing one job of cooking and prepping. I'm doing the job of like many people and multitasking. But it's my business, it's my restaurant, and that's what I got to do to survive. There's no other way of doing it. If this was a different restaurant where it wasn't driven by a chef, I guess we probably would have ended up closing quite some time ago.
How about in terms of staff? I know you said you're small, but have you had trouble hiring people? Because everyone's having trouble.
So when I decided to open up in the beginning of May, in March I started doing interviews, started putting interviews. So March, April, a total of 2 months, and I had 0 hires in 2 months. Uh, I have family who's been in the business, and they actually helped me open up and work with me. And we opened up with family working in the front of the house, and just me and one sous chef in the kitchen. And as we went along, I've been, so since May now, I have hired 3 people. That's all I've been able to hire in terms of what I'm looking for. The people that have some experience working in the kind of restaurant that I want Wicked Jane to be in. And it's difficult. I think it might be getting a little bit better now than certainly than what it was in May and June and July. I think it might be getting a little bit better now. I ran an ad a few weeks ago. I did get quite a bit of resumes, but
Did you have to pay more? Did you find you had to pay more? Or what sort of incentives did you offer?
Our expenses are, probably between food cost and labor cost. It's probably 200-300% more than what it would be. I mean, even me buying a piece of fish or some meat, it's definitely 100% more than what it was. However, our prices are not 100% or 200% or 300% more. We've raised our prices a little bit, but certainly not, maybe 20%, 30%. So we are taking a beating. I mean, I think most restaurants, unless they're doing a lot of volume, they are taking a beating. It's very, very difficult. And on top of that, you can't get stuff. Like you order stuff and you can't get
That
stuff.
was going to be my next question. Well, first of all, let me remind listeners, I'm talking to Zad Arifai. He is an incredible chef, self-taught, and he owns Wicked Jane, which is at 15 West 8th Street here in Manhattan. And, just the trials and tribulations in the economy and the pandemic. So yes, where are you finding the problems with the supply chain? And is it getting worse? Does it appear to be getting better? What's going on?
I think it's getting a little bit better. It was really bad in July and August. We would place orders for the next day, and they would not come in until 8-9 o'clock at nighttime, which usually is, no one delivers 8-9 o'clock at nighttime. Usually your orders come in 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, but not 8-9 o'clock at nighttime. And it's understandable. They couldn't find drivers as well to deliver stuff. But then you get the orders and it's not what it's supposed to be, and things are missing. And it was July and August was quite bad. It is getting better. Some companies were being really, really strict and very not hospitable with restaurants and putting all kinds of demands on them. Your time frame of delivery, they can only deliver in the morning. You have to have such a minimum, which was really, really unfair for the restaurants, especially if you're in Manhattan. If your trucks are going out to deliver regardless, but somehow you survive. You gotta change the menu because you plan on the menu and the ingredients don't come in, and you have to change that, and reprint the menu and reconfigure things. But it was. I think it's better now than what it was in July and August. July and August was very, very bad.
So Zad, I mean, why do you continue to do this with this kind of stress? This just sounds horrendous to me. I mean, I know you have a joy and a love of food, and it just shows in the creations on your menu. But do you think of packing it in? How are you handling this?
No, I would not be able to pack it in. I really do love what I do. I enjoy the challenge. I don't like to be in a comfort zone. I like to be outside the comfort zone. So this is a bit challenging. I wish it was just a little bit more smoother. So every day we don't have obstacles, but I love what I do. I mean, even if I was a millionaire and I won the lottery tomorrow, I would still open a restaurant. I would still, it might be under different circumstances, but I love what I do. I love cooking. I love working. It's in my blood. It's part of my DNA of who I am. I could not enjoy doing anything else. I don't, I think about stuff. I take a train I still live in Montclair. I take the train from Montclair every day, and when I wonder and think about things and how things would have been different, and there's really nothing else that I can think of doing that's going to make me happy. This is, I love what I do. So when you love what you're doing, you just go with the punches,
Explain where your love of food came from and how you taught yourself and experimented. Tell a little bit. We only have a few minutes left, but I want people to know who you are.
Well, I mean, I grew up in Kosovo, in a small town, so we ate. We kind of lived a biodynamic lifestyle. We grew everything ourselves. We didn't buy anything. The only thing we bought was really salt. We made our own flour. We had our own chickens. We had our own eggs. We had our own vegetables. During winter time, we would just pickle and smoke everything, so to preserve, because we didn't even have a refrigerator. Or we did have a refrigerator, but we never used it because it just wasn't part of the culture growing up for grandma to use a refrigerator. So that was always part of my, it was set on me from being a small little kid. So once we moved to New Jersey,
which was when you were how old?
It was the 1974, and I was 9 years old. I got into rock and roll. I saw pictures of Led Zeppelin, and I saw pictures of Jimmy Page holding his guitar all the way down to his knees, and I was like, wow, that's just so cool, and I wanted to be a rock star, so I learned how to play guitar. And but food was always, always in my blood. Even though I was in a rock and roll band, I would always eat in high-end fine dining restaurants. So we toured with bands in all over the country, all over Europe, and I would eat in all like Michelin 3-star restaurants. So we were in Europe, and or we were in wherever, in Chicago or San Francisco. So I was always into food. And once I decided to change careers, I said, well, the only other thing I really love is food. Let me open a restaurant. So I opened a restaurant. It became very successful. The media loved it. Pretty much loved it because I really didn't know how to cook anything classic. I was just making things up as we went along. And
only 1 minute left. So
okay.
Let our listeners know something about you that they don't know, that they need to know to understand Zad, Arifai, and Wicked Jane.
I wish the circumstances were different, because we would be doing much different foods. I'm kind of playing a little bit between being creative and finding a comfort zone. However, the food would be a lot more avant-garde if the circumstances were different. It would touch you in a different way. Right now, I still want food to have soul, and when you eat something that touches you and you say, wow, this was creative, but it tastes delicious as well. And that's kind of what Wicked Jane is right now.
Okay, and Wicked Jane again is at 15 West 8th Street. The cross street is closest?
Between 5th and 6th.
Okay. awesome. It was great reconnected with
Great.
you, Zad.
Great.
Arifai, good to see you on
Thanks so
Zoom
much.
again.
Stay well. Be good. Take
And
care.
you too. And in case you missed any part of this, you can download the iHeartRadio app. It's free. And all my interviews from Sonstein Sunday live on the podcast Sonstein Sessions. And I'll see you guys tomorrow morning on the Jim Kerr Rock and Roll Morning Show, Q104.3.
New York's classic rock, Q1043.